Watching the entire film in dubbing studio, Rajni said hugged me. He was so happy. And then he said,
So everyone went into Coolie expecting some crazy sci-fi time travel story, right? The hype was real, people were making theories left, right, center. Some even said this would be Lokesh Kanagaraj's most experimental film. But yet, when I walked out of theater, well, I just like to say it really hit different. Today I'm breaking down Coolie using different classic formats, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's see where this film actually stands. Okay, the plot. Before we dive in, here's what you need to know. The story is pretty simple. Rajni plays Deva, who meets Preeti, that's Shruti Hassan. She's dealing with some personal loss, like her dad dying. The bad guys are Simon, played by Nagarjuna, and his sidekick Dayal, who was actually very good in this role, played by Shobin Sahir, who you might know him from Manjumal Boys. Throw in some cameos from Upendra and Amir Khan, and boom, that's a whole setup. Nothing too complicated, now let's break it down. The good. Rajnikant's screen presence. Man, at 74, Rajni still has the magic. His style, his swag, his signature walk. It's all there. Every time he's on the screen, you can't look away. Yes, the age shows in action scenes, but his charisma still unmatched. Shruti Hassan steps up. She's not just here for the looks, okay? Shruti actually brings weight to her scenes. Her dialogue delivery is sharp and she truly excels whenever she shares screen with Rajni, which is the heart of the film. And let me be honest, the movie looks absolutely gorgeous. The cinematography and the color grading are top notch. And you can clearly see where all the budget of the movie was spent. Rajni's flashback sequence deserves a special mention. The de-aging looks natural and it's beautifully shot and edited. Though it comes a bit late in the film, it's definitely a highlight, and not to forget the most important highlight of the film, Anirudh's background music. Look, when it works, it's amazing. And Anirudh's music truly elevates and saves many scenes from being boring. Without his score, several sequences would have fallen flat. The bad. Wasted potentials in villains. Let's start with Shobin as Dayal. He's genuinely scary and his acting is top notch. He manages to be cruel and smile at the same time. But the character comes and goes randomly. The director does not invest in him enough for us to feel the shock value when he eventually betrays the main character. I mean, it doesn't even hit hard because we didn't even know that he is a big or important character in the screenplay or the script. The screenplay is all over the place if you ask me. And that's one of the worst aspects of this movie. Nagarjuna as Simon, this one hurts. He looks stylish, sure, but after seeing him in much more layered roles recently in movies like Kubera, this feels like a major step back and also a setback for the actor itself. I just couldn't buy him as a hardcore villain. I mean, it might be because I've grown up watching him acting in multiple movies where he was not given such a character role or character arc. But in this movie, Simon is wasted and he showed as someone who has no power over anything. And you can see this clearly in the scene where his own son, was killed by a random stranger and he just reacted by calling her nicely and killing her. He's supposed to be a tycoon, man. Why would he be so diplomatic? Maybe the writing of Nagarjuna's character is lackluster, but again, for the actor itself, it's a major setback for his career. I digress. Let's go back to Shruti Hassan's character in the film. While her performance is good, the writing lets her down. Too many times she's just waiting to be saved like a puppy. They could have given her so much more to do. I mean, how many times are you going to throw her in the same situation in multiple locations? I mean, that's just bad writing. And since her character is not well developed in writing aspects, she can't do much as an actor. And she did pull off the role or character which is given to her with a commendable dialogue delivery. But still, I mean, what can an actor do if the script is not good or the writing of the character is not good? There's not much he can do. And this one directly goes to Lokesh. And one more peculiar thing which I've noticed in all Lokesh filmography, all of his films kind of dip in the second half, with exceptions of course like Kaiti and Vikram, more recently Leo, which was directed and written by him. Look, I genuinely believe this movie is a readaptation of Nelson's Jailer in Vikram's format by Lokesh Kanagaraj. I mean, look at the similarities between Coolie and Jailer and the type of cameos both of them had. I mean, to be more specific, look at the cameos which Shivraj Kumar and Upendra shared, like in these both movies. It's very similar, and I genuinely believe that Lokesh Kanagaraj did try to pull off a Jailer in his own filmography by making Rajnikant do a similar role what he did in Nelson's. I mean, comment below what you think. The Ugly. The action set pieces fell flat in most sequences. This happened because the fights had no real impact, everything was too easy, and as fans we were truly let down by Lokesh. And oh, don't get me started on the climax. The cameo appearance from Amir Khan was extremely unnecessary, and his character Daha, who was actually supposed to be so intimidating, ended up looking like a weak clown with no real character arc. And if you observe the movie closely, Rajni just walks through everything like it's nothing without a real challenge. And the terrible CGI during the action set pieces actually let down a tight script. The visual effects look cheap in many places for a budget in 2025, and some action set pieces looked straight from 2015. I know I should not be judging it on base of logic because it's a commercial film and Rajnikant is the hero in it. I mean, with all due respect, there have been films where Rajnikant has truly surpassed his potential in films like Jailer, Shivaji the Boss, and Entiran. But hear me out. Just hear me out for a second, guys. Logic goes out of the window where 20-30 people get beaten up in broad daylight and no police shows up. Come on. If it was a Bollywood movie, there would be memes flying around everywhere, right? I mean, I'm just trying to be fair. And as a South Indian, I do respect the culture and the movie cinemas we do bring up, but this is just unacceptable. I know I've said it earlier. Amir Khan's cameo, honestly, is a painful watch for a legend. Feels completely forced and adds absolutely no value to the story. Just a waste of screen time and a waste of star space. Inconsistent tone. The film can't decide what it wants to be. Is it a serious revenge drama or is it a masala entertainer? The second half especially becomes extremely cartoonish with all those I tricked you, no, I tricked you, with characters like Sitaram who we were in the first place never too invested in. I mean, it does pack a punch, not gonna lie. But I think it was unnecessary and it was overdone. And it kind of let down a already tight script. So where does this leave Coolie? The good gives you the reasons to watch is mainly because of Rajni's presence and some technical brilliance. The bad shows missed opportunity that could have made this special. But the ugly, that's what pulls the whole film down. It's not Lokesh's worst film, like some critics would like to point it out, but it's definitely not its best either. You'll watch it for Rajni, you'll enjoy some moments, but you will walk out feeling it could have been so much more better. And if you are expecting another Vikram or some crazy sci-fi experiment, you will be disappointed. That's my honest breakdown of Coolie. The good, the bad and the ugly. Which category do you think dominated the film? Let me know in the comments below.